Roger that. So we can ID the targets. That's the target.
Ek is gereed om terugvoering te gee, majoor.
Gee my net die breedtrekker.
Die CFA kon nog nie vasstel hoe die huursoldate in Bola-Wamasa gesterf het nie. Al wat hulle kon kry was die plaaslike bevolking wat praat oor bose geeste.
Dis net so hulle is.
Aha, maar daar is gerugte dat jy die job van die hand gewys het omdat jy geweet het van die siekte. En nou is iemand besig om 'n vergeldingssquad saam te stel.
Van alle dinge. En ek maak soms my hande vuil. Maar ek's 'n engel in vergelyking met sommige van hierdie bliksems. Slawehandel. Reg onder hulle neuse en hulle wil my vervolg.
Maar ek's nie 'n voortrekker nie, maar jy's heeltemal reg. Nie een van ons verdien 'n prys op sy kop.
In elk geval, sê die res in 'n geskrewe verslag. Wat meer belangrik is jou volgende taak. ZRS probeer 'n ou man om die lewe bring. Dit het iets te doen met kernwapen. Maar ek het geen idee wie die ou man is nie.
Ek verstaan. Ek sal dit ondersoek. Om kernwapens te ondersoek is, wel, dis 'n baie gevaarlike pad om te loop.
Ja, ek weet nie. Kan wees wat hierdie plek nodig het. Ek die skrik maak tussen die lande. Kan baie bloedvergieting stop.
Jy dink Mobutu en die res sal die sin daarvan kan insien.
Maar miskien het hulle planne om die groot koppe ook gelukkig te maak. Vir nou, vind uit waarmee ZRS besig is.
Ek begryp nie.
Treasure trove of intel we were hoping for. Well, whatever. Exfiltrate the hot zone and RTB. Arriving shortly at LZ. This is Pequod. On station at LZ. Sign of the enemy. Mission complete, boss. Departing! The Major spilled his guts, all right. His nuclear arms business was just a rumor he was paid to spread around. He doesn't even know who's paying him. All his instructions came through a cutout. Hell, who else would be behind it but Cypher? And this nuclear arms trading is clearly connected to that yellow cake. He thought the same thing, which is why he tried to investigate ZRS himself. He said something else that caught my attention. That ZRS had tried to kill some old man. How did one old man get that kind of attention? Boss, about those walker gears spreading all over Africa, Huey's got an idea for a counter-weapon. Come on back to base.
This. It's a variable, multi-legged tank. A spin-off of Metal Gear technology.
Big fan of spin-offs, isn't he? I hear he borrowed from the Soviets in Costa Rica, too.
The design allows for a lot of freedom in setups. It's based around a central core unit, so you can quickly reconfigure the hardware to suit any sort of mission parameters.
What the good doctor's trying to say is that it's customizable.
Naturally, it will raise the probability of success for standard missions. But it functions as an improved deterrent by increasing your preemptive strike capability against enemy elements. You just deploy it in a war zone, and its superior firepower puts the brakes on enemy attacks. Eventually, the whole war machine grinds to a halt. A true battle gear!
'Cause I'm having deja vu here.
I don't like him any more than you. But we need this.
You think it'll cut it in the field?
Turning radius is better than any tanks. That's great for regional skirmishes. Tech like this is popping up all among the PFs. Best way to deal with them is to fight fire with fire.
I'll await your instructions then, boss.
So do we have your approval to commence development? Fine.
Consider yourself off the chopping block, Doctor.
Got a new mission for you, boss. The client is one of the kids you rescued from that mine. According to the kids, people often disappear from the mine to a place called Nzoia Badiabulu, the Devil's House. On top of that, Saner's involved with the place. Check your iDroid for the mission details.
Boss, the client this time is a child. One of the children you rescued from that mine. He wants us to save the boy who was their leader. His name is Shabani, and he was the oldest among them. Several days before you went to the mine, he was taken away to Nzoia Badiabulu. Our search turned up a place the locals call by that name. Ngumba Industrial Zone. Nearby residents are terrified of it. They say the devil lives there, and that anyone who sets foot in it never returns. This industrial zone has long been abandoned, but it seems it was sold off a few years back to a certain corporation, Saner. And now the perimeter is tightly guarded by a PF. The reason is unclear. The same goes for why Shabani was taken away. But something is obviously going on there. Those kids from the mine really looked up to Shabani. The client has given us the last of their diamonds in return. Go get Shabani out of there, boss. Whatever Cypher's up to in the region, Shabani might just be our best lead.
The target is Shabani. He was the leader of the boys being forced to work at the mine. He was separated from the others and taken away to Ngumba Industrial Zone. The locals call this place Nzoia Badiabulu, the Devil's House. Boss, find Shabani and extract him safely. You can check the target's location on your iDroid. in a sunken road. Minoko Yanyoka, the snake's mouth. I get it. Looks like that's the only way to the objective area.
Ever since the attack on your unit 9 years ago, the name Big Boss has become known the world over.
What do you mean?
Those of your men who survived traveled far and wide. They fought throughout the world. In fact, they're part of the reason we have all these PFs now. Every one of them suffered their own phantom pain from losing you. Talking about you wherever they went helped to heal their wounds. Your actions and words, your legend, has been told on every battlefield they've set foot on. Obviously, as the tales have spread, the truth's been distorted, painted over. Big Boss sacrificed himself to show us the threat that Cypher poses. He sounded a warning, so it goes.
A warning?
Too much power destroys the hands that hold it. Apparently, you chose to be a living example of that.
I never said any of that.
The moment any truth is passed on, it starts turning into fiction. The problem is, fiction inspires people more than facts. To the world, you're now the legendary mercenary Big Boss. The lessons you've taught the PFs are the reason they're so widespread. They're the reason they've survived. And you know what they all aspire to? To one day go nuclear, just like you did. And stand up to Cypher.
Of all the stupid things you could do.
They'll never understand what you really wanted. Heroes are misunderstood. It takes a man of the same caliber to understand what drives them. Bottom line is, these guys want to be like their hero Big Boss. And deep down they all have their eyes on nuclear weapons. They say that a nuke is the only means of standing against Cypher. These days it's becoming little more than a slogan to rally the troops and survive in a cutthroat business.
Currently, there are 3 major PFs who've expanded into Central Africa. CFA, Rogue Coyote, and Zero Risk Security. HEC's investigations have shown there's almost no overlap between their areas of operation. It's not so much a turf war, more like they have a gentleman's agreement. If you do cross paths with them, you probably won't have to face more than one at a time. Still, don't expect a walk in the park. The CFA, Contract Forces of Africa. These guys are a major player. Their head office is in Pretoria, South Africa. That's also where the South African Defense Force is headquartered. We think the two are closely connected. An HEC investigation revealed that most of the CFA's operators are former SADF soldiers. South Africa has been locked in struggles with neighboring regimes for years. That means constant action. And we know better than anyone that's the best kind of training. A company drawing its recruits from hardened military vets. You can bet they know how to handle themselves. Do not underestimate them. Within the CFA is a company of soldiers made up mainly of locally hired operators. They speak Afrikaans to communicate with personnel from the CFA. But if you notice any speaking the local language, that's them. Though hired from the local population, they were originally part of a paramilitary group, so they'll have plenty of combat experience. And unlike their days shooting junkyard rifles out of beat-up pickup trucks,
They even got a guard post there.
the latest gear.
Security sure is tight.
On top of
I
that,
guess they don't want anyone poking around.
South African Army. All that adds up to a much stronger fighting force. So don't brush them off. Look at the Angola-Zaire border region. The east bank of the Munene River in particular. It's a microcosm of a problem that stretches all across Africa. There's a civil war going on in Angola fought between the government MPLA and the Western-backed UNITA. Zaire is still a dictatorship under President Mobutu, but numerous uprisings have broken out in its remote regions. With all the trouble elsewhere keeping their hands full, neither government has control over their side of the border. They depend on militias and PF, as do the rebels. Government forces, guerrillas, militants, groups of all shapes and sizes hawk whatever resources they can to hire PFs. Conflict brings PFs. PFs expand the war zone, and more conflicts erupt in a continuous chain reaction. Sounds like our kind of
Mist. Supposedly the valley up ahead is covered in mist almost year-round. The objective area is beyond there. The bridge has collapsed. Looks like you'll have to go down through the valley.
Hey! Are you alright? Shit!
The objective area is beyond that guard post. There are cliffs on either side. There's a cliff blocking the way to the objective area. You'll have to take the path.
Listening to the radio. I said, look behind, like you're chanting some strange spell. There was another.
Down any minute. Watch your step. You've reached the objective area. Now look for the target. I just hope he's alive. No sign of any guards. It's never good when things are too quiet. Be careful.
Y ahora están corriendo en la Plaza Patria, en el centro de Guadalajara. La policía dice que
What is that? Boss, get your body.
Shabani, your boy sent me.
Nie må signet og banetod. No går be Kieban. You burn with the rest of them.
Cyprus. He avoided water. Time to get on the chopper. Gaining altitude. Skullface. So he was in Africa after all. Working behind the scenes, even that man on fire at his beck and call. But what the hell was going on at the Devil's House? Earphones embedded in people's throats, tapes playing voices. And those lumps on their chests. They looked like the ones on the bodies at the oil field. The man on fire burned everything to the ground. But we were recording audio the whole time you were there. We'll conduct a thorough analysis of it. Inspecting a CFA outpost. It appears he's involved with nuclear weapons development in the area. My hunch is that this guy is somehow connected to Cypher. I've got no proof, but we know Skullface is working through PFs in the region. Anyway, it just so happens a job connected to this inspection has come in. Take a look at your iDroid.
Hard to believe how many of those bipedal weapons have popped up around Africa. When did that start? No more than 6 months ago. Didn't really hit me until I came here.
They're not supposed to be in use yet. Emmerich says they were still doing the last round of fine-tuning.
The doctor has no idea. His research has already hit the black market. Both sides of the Iron Curtain will have it by now. Even so, they're spreading much too fast. Sure, the Walker gears can operate in any terrain. Their mobility's just as good in the jungle as it is in the desert. That would come in handy in a place like Africa. They are modules that can one day be used as nuclear weapon systems. And with that in mind, the numbers are way too large. There must be another reason they're so widespread.
Like what?
It's all about needs. To small-time outfits like most of these private forces, this product is a dream come true. Hell, it goes beyond PFs. This is the ultimate weapon, the forbidden fruit, for anyone with an enemy to fight and people to defend.
The nuclear deterrent.
Exactly. Sounds familiar, huh? PFs are all operating off your playbook. You created these times. But could this be the new weapon in Africa that Emmerich talked about? If it is, why is Cypher letting everyone and his brother get their hands on one? What comes next? Selling nuclear weapons in the open? Making them public property?
Why don't they give that a try? Then the next war really will be fought with sticks.
Right. The man we're dealing with isn't foolish enough to make a suicide pact with the world.
So, what is Cypher really up to?
Snake, I wanted to ask you about the man on fire. What do you remember from the hospital? Anything we can use?
Well, he took off the moment the sprinkler started up.
Sprinklers? The fire system?
And when he got sprayed with water from the burst pipe, it slowed him down.
When we escaped on horseback, he wouldn't cross the river either.
And then it started to rain. And he disappeared.
Water against fire. Is it that simple? I mean, it makes sense. It's just hard to believe it would work on a guy like that.
Zero-risk security aren't as hardcore a military outfit compared to the other two PFs in this region. The company sends operators to conflict regions around the world, not just Africa. They have decades of combined experience. They're also based out of South Africa. Their headquarters is in Johannesburg. A lot of their work involves corporate security for South African companies, but a good number of their operators are retired South African military. So don't mistake them for a bunch of security guards. Rogue Coyote operates mainly out of Africa these days. Of the three PFs, they're the smallest. However, they scooped up most of the Rhodesian SAS after the country collapsed 4 years ago. Picture their entire organization as one big special forces unit. With Rhodesia a British colony, the Rhodesian SAS had its origins in 22 SAS Sea Squadron. They started out as a group known as the Southern Rhodesia Volunteers, but in '51 they were incorporated into 22 SAS as members of the British Commonwealth and deployed to fight guerrillas in the Malayan emergency. Even now, 22 SAS keeps the Sea Squadron designation empty in recognition of their service. In a way, you could say the SAS almost makes up the core of Rogue Coyote. Later on, they were bolstered by other talent, including former Celis Scouts and 32 Battalion. These guys are direct descendants of the best special forces in the world. They won't go down without a fight. Don't get careless. Kunganga Mine. A civil war's been going on in that region for the last 20 years. It's being fought by what are now two ethnic groups, the Buta and the Mbele. Originally, you could barely tell them apart. But the reason for the current armed conflict goes back to World War I. After the war, their land was colonized by a European power, and it decided to give local control to the Buta. That split the two groups into rulers and subjects, laying the foundations for an inevitable civil war. The friction between them remained even after they won independence from Europe. The Buta are holding on to power to this day, and the Mbele rebels continue to fight back. The conflict is funded by locally mined gold, rare metals, diamonds. They've used the money from those to arm themselves, buy oil, and even hire PFs. The Buta administration owns the mining rights to Kunganga Mine. But most of the laborers are Mbele, who they've taken prisoner. The product they've gouged out of their land is bought up by cheap Western corporations. And the civil war is fueled by the profits. That's how it goes. One country's people is split apart by another country. Then the two groups tear up their own land for money in order to fight each other. Now this civil war started by a foreign power is the norm, and it's sucking up all the country's resources. PFs are just the same. They follow the money, taking war with them wherever they go. That goes for us too. It's an endless river of bloody retaliation, and we're standing downstream. Should we make a stand and staunch the flow? Or wade in amongst the corpses and make a bigger splash than the rest? We'll follow your lead, boss.
Snake!
Emmerich is developing the walker gear for you and is supporting the R&D team from confinement. We're continuing to monitor him to make sure he doesn't try anything.
The contract is to eliminate a high-ranking CFA officer. CFA doesn't just hire UNITA soldiers as mercenaries. They're also supplying UNITA with weapons. It just smacks of Western nations manipulating them against the socialist MPLA. Naturally, the MPLA is not happy with the situation and wants us to put a stop to it. Your standard issue East-West proxy war. Except it appears our target is the man in charge of how many weapons get supplied to UNITA. Apparently his MO is to keep the Civil War going as long as possible, so CFA can keep making a profit. Bad for business if United wins too soon. So they sit back and suck the people dry. Parasites of war. Our intel suggests the target rarely ventures outside of Nova Braga Airport. But rumor has it that a Western arms dealer is headed there soon for an inspection. That could be your chance to eliminate the target from a distance. We also heard that he plans to leave the country following the inspection. This may be our only opportunity to take him out.
Eliminate the high-ranking CFA official in charge of supplying weapons to United. The target stays at Nova Braga Airport. Head to the airport first. Some of our staff hostage. If we don't do something, they'll try to take off with our men. That would mean losing some of our finest manpower. Boss, take back that platform. This is a race against time. For all of us. Get on this mission right away, boss. Infiltrate the platform under enemy control and eliminate their commander. The moment they lose their chain of command, we'll move in and suppress the rest. The enemy have taken some of our staff hostage and are threatening to kill them if they're attacked. You can't rely on support from us this time. Anything we do might be seen as an attack. Boss, forgive me. Can't believe I let an enemy force in right under my nose. But one thing's for sure. They're gonna pay for it. Make certain of that, boss. Staff. He's being held hostage. I'd like to get him out of there as much as you, but don't push it. If you can eliminate the target without being detected, we can rescue the hostages ourselves. project is in. Eliminate the enemy PF commander. We need to take back that platform from them. Once the commander's gone, his unit will fall apart. I've sent the target's predicted field of movement to your iDroid, along with his VI. Take a look. The target should be in that area. It's up to you to find him. That's the target, the enemy commander. He calls himself Mosquito. The PF he leads has captured a sizable market share by imitating the way we work. The more the PF industry expands, the thinner the available manpower is stretched. Finding and training elite personnel takes time. But Diamond Dogs is not about to submit to some two-bit imposters. Eliminate this Mosquito, suppress his attack force, and show them what we're made of. And by the way, boss, do you recognize this guy? He seems to have something personal against us. Those corridors are tight, not many places to hide. Pipes, ducts, use the structure of the platform itself to your advantage. The target is the enemy PF commander. Take him out. His location is on your iDroid. Subject is in. You successfully rescued all the hostages. On their behalf. No. On behalf of all of Diamond Dogs. All that's left is to eliminate the target. Go get him, boss.
Wake up! What the hell? Contact! Contact! Hostile! Fire team! All units, ready for combat!
You're going to extract him. Good thinking. We'll make him squeal till he's paid his due.
Attention hostile force! We have eliminated your commander. Escape is impossible. Lay down your weapons immediately. Surrender now, and you will not be fired upon.
Boss, we figured out who that enemy commander was. He was on the staff at Mother Base 9 years back. Despite surviving the attack, he broke off from us and spent his years terrified that a cleanup squad would come after him. The isolation screwed with his sense of loyalty. A rumor, source unknown, had him convinced that the attack 9 years ago was orchestrated by you yourself. The big boss sold out his comrades to hide from the world. He thought that's why you weren't at the base that day. He was so desperate to take us down, he built up his own PF, copying us in every way. His idea of the perfect revenge. But in the end, he was just a victim of disinformation. I'll leave you to decide how to deal with him. Great, you made it. I've sent the information to your map screen. That's the target's predicted location. Check all around the target and plan carefully before moving in. We've just received word that the arms dealer due to inspect Nova Braga Airport is on his way. Once his chopper has arrived, he'll be touring the facilities along with the target. Let him bring the target out into your line of fire. target will leave the country with the arms dealer after the inspection. Take him out before that happens. That must be the arms dealer. His next move will be to meet the target. Looks like the arms dealer's chopper is gonna patrol for the security forces. Be sure you don't get spotted from above.
Skande is korrek. Nou het 'n klomp huursoldaat-honde van ons te hore gekom. Spooke van 'n dooie era.
Meneer, ek het gehoor dat 'n man by Olieveld die Big Boss was. Die legendariese huursoldaat. Niemand het my vertel dat ons teen iemand soos hy gestaan sal wees. Ons kontrak het slegs gespesifiseer dat ons die sekuriteit en beskerming van plaasnommer en dan te maksimum. Beskerming.
Chef, dit is Ulysses. En uitgecheck, maar we gaan niks hier aan nie.
Ek het genoeg hoor. Vereers het ons 'n inspeksie om af te aan. Wys my die plek.
Kom ons begin by die suidelike. Stap die kant toe.
That guy talking with the arms dealer. Could he be the target? That's the target. Looks like we found him. That's a Walker gear. They're fast. They can operate off-road too. You do best to avoid them. Boss, get down. The enemy's sniper. Stay low and crawl along the ground. That should enable you to sneak past enemies.